In this video, I'm going to continue on with the equipment series. This is actually something I haven't done for a little while, but this is a series where I really talk about the rod, reel, and line, what I think is the perfect combination for really specific buzz baits. Now, just a few days ago, I talked about fishing a buzz bait, so I thought I would go ahead and talk about what I like as far as equipment goes for a buzz bait, especially because we're going to be getting into a season where I am going to be throwing a buzz bait a lot. Now, before we get into the equipment, this video is brought to you by Fin Fishing Apparel. And right now, for the month of September, I am running a kind of a package deal over on the website. And to me, it's a really good deal because you can actually get a USA made sun shirt, one of the only ones made here in the US, and a duck hat, a waterproof, lightweight, really durable hat for $64. So typically this combo is around $90, so you're saving around 30% on the overall package. But anyways, I'm going to leave some links down below in the description. Shopping at Fin Fishing is truly the best way to help support this channel, and I greatly appreciate all of you who have shopped there in the past. All right, let's talk a little bit about equipment. I like doing these videos, but it's hard for me. I really just don't want to sound super salesy when I talk about this. So I really like to talk about powers and actions a lot and gear ratios because look, there's a number of different brands out there on the market, rods and reels that are really good. As you guys know, I really like Arc Rod and Reels. I partner with them. If you guys want to use the coupon code over on their website, BFHQ, you can get 10% off any of their products, including their high-end reels and rods. But this rod and reel right here, man, I picked this up a number of years ago for buzzbait fishing, and I have not put this thing down. As a matter of fact, this specific rod I actually use for a lot of different applications, a lot of different techniques, which I'll talk about here at the very end of this video. But to me, this is the perfect buzzbait rod. Now, this rod was actually designed by Brandon Cobb, a Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, and it was designed specifically for a buzzbait. It's actually called the Buzz Burner rod. The nice thing about this rod, it's not going to break the bank. It's only a $99 rod, even less than that. Again, 10% off if you use the coupon code over on their website. But to me, it has the perfect action. It is the perfect power rod. Now, something that's interesting about this rod, at least I think it's interesting, is that it's a very, very light rod, but it's rated as a heavy power rod. So you can throw a really heavy bait out there, and it can really handle that bait well, which is really good for what I'm going to talk about at the very end. But most buzz baits that I use are usually a 1/4 ounce or 3/8 of an ounce, which is really not a big bait in general. It handles that bait really, really fine. Now, this is a fast action rod. I would call it a moderate fast action. If you like, to me, that's what it's a little bit more of a moderate fast than a fast. It has just a slightly bit more parabolic bend to it. Not like a glass rod by any means. But to me, I really like that because, man, this thing is 7 foot 1 inches long. So to me, it's that perfect size where it allows you to get a really long cast if you're working a buzzbait over big flats, over big points, but also it allows you to be very precise. I love to skip a buzzbait underneath docks, underneath overhanging trees. This rod, because of its length, it really allows you to do that. Because of the action, it's really the perfect just action in general. And to me, I really like that it's just a touch softer than maybe a true fast action because I prefer to use my buzzbaits with braided line. As you can see here, I have 30-pound braid. Now, I have tried a lot of different size of braids over the years when it comes to buzzbait fishing and topwater fishing in general. I think 30-pound is the perfect size. I've done 20-pound. It's just too thin to me. I've done 40-pound. 40-pound works pretty good. 50-pound seems too heavy. 30-pound is really about what I like. And I really, like I said, I have a specific buzzbait rod. I keep it with me all the time, especially during the fall. But this thing right here is 30-pound Power Bro. You guys know that I love Power Pro braid, and that has done the job for me. I've never broken off a fish. I feel like I have every bit of as much muscle as I need to get the fish out of cover, whether that's wood cover or grass, whatever it may be. I have plenty of power in this entire system. And again, because the overall rod is just a touch softer, although being a heavy power, that braid really just handles well on it. I think to me, it's a perfect rod. I do not need to set the hook super hard, although I still do at times. And even if I set the hook really, really hard, because of the bend of this rod, it really absorbs a lot of that. But with buzzbaits, you really don't need to set the hook super hard when you're using straight braid. I mean, it's cast the bait out, that fish hits it, you just kind of pop it into them. And a lot of times it works out well because your line is typically tight to that fish. Like when you're reeling a buzzbait in, you know, your rod might be like right around here, or you may have it like pointed right at the bait. So when he hits it, it's just a sling back. You got him hooked, he's ready to go. But to me, this has been the perfect rod and line combination. As far as the reel goes, gear ratio to me, is a little bit important when it comes to buzzbait fishing, just because you use the reel a lot to work the bait, right? As you're simply just reeling that bait along. I prefer something in the 7 range. I think 7 is a happy medium. I think 8, anything, you could use an 8.1-to-1 gear ratio reel. The only issue that you have is when you get into times of the year where the water's really, really cold, you really want to slow that bait down. And you can slow down with an 8.1-to-1 gear ratio reel. Some people are fine doing that, have no issues doing that. I just prefer to have a gear ratio that is a little bit lower at that 7. Anything in the 6 range to me just seems a little bit too slow. You know, sometimes I really want to buzz this. I mean, I've fished for spotted bass that fish around buzz. I have fished for spotted bass that are eating buzzbaits before, and sometimes they like it ripping. And so to me, a 7 is a perfect all-around gear ratio reel. This is the Gravity 5 reel. Of the Gravity series, I have used a lot of the Gravity 2s, Gravity 3, or Gravity 5s, and the Gravity 7s. The Gravity 7s are the best, in my opinion, but they are also a little bit more expensive. This is like a $149 reel. Again, you can get 10% off, and it's a really good reel. I've never had one fail. I really like them. I think that they're one of the best casting reels out there, like casting. I think they are phenomenal reels. But anyways, that is the entire system. I use this thing a lot, but this thing is also a really good all-around rod. To me, this is one of the best rods that you can pick up to throw a number of different techniques. As a matter of fact, I a lot of times will take the braid off. I don't take the braid off. You could take the braid off if you wanted to. I have another rod that's a buzz burn rod, and it is my designated spinnerbait rod. Like, that is what I use for spinnerbaits. I use it with 20-pound straight fluorocarbon with spinnerbaits. And to me, again, it is the perfect all-around length for spinnerbaits. A lot in the same, because it's like a spinnerbait and a buzzbait are kind of like in the same realm. As far as, you know, the rod and reels that I use for them, I just like straight fluorocarbon with my spinnerbaits, as opposed to the braid that I like with the buzzbaits. And real quick side note, you can use fluorocarbon with a buzzbait. Don't ever let anyone tell you can't use fluorocarbon with the buzzbait, because you are constantly reeling this, especially if you have a buzzbait like this that has a little blade that pops it up on the surface. It's never going to sink. You know, I used fluorocarbon with buzzbaits for a number of years, had no problems with it at all. I just prefer the braid. The braid I just like a little bit more, and I like that I don't have to change it out every couple of months. So anyways, but I do like fluorocarbon with my spinnerbaits. Another thing that I use this rod for a ton, and I've used it for even more and more and more, is like grass flipping and pitching when it is not like a mat of vegetation. If I'm out there, I'm flipping around milfoil, coontail, I'm fishing some outside grass lines, I actually like 30-pound braid to a 15 to 20-pound fluorocarbon leader with a Texas rig or a jig. You guys seen me do this often. I've done it several times on the channel. This is the rod and reel setup that I like for that. To me, it is perfect for that as well. Again, it's a very light rod in your hand, so it's very nice to flip all day long with this specific setup. I've also used this around wood, flipping and pitching, the same kind of concept with jigs and with Texas rigs, and I like it. There's times where I just prefer a straight fluorocarbon 20-pound line with my Texas rigs around wood, around docks, I would say at times. And in that case, I'm going to use, if I'm fishing a dock, with a jig or a Texas rig, this is the rod that I'm going to use. I'm going to use it in that situation with straight fluorocarbon. If I'm flipping and pitching it offshore, I like the braid to fluorocarbon. So I have a number of these rods. I think they're really, really good rods, and I love them for a buzzbait. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like the equipment series, please let me know. And hopefully you guys catch a lot of buzzbait fish this year, because buzzbaits are super fun. All right, see you guys in the next one.